Tell us a little bit, Kristie, about your career journey. So you've been a DEI advocate, practitioner, leader, an entrepreneur, founder. Now you sit in the C-suite as a chief operating officer. Just tell us about the journey.
Whew. That's me, right?
That's you.
Oh, wow.
That's
good.
you.
So I started out in financial consulting with a very valuable finance company. And I earned the opportunity to do a rotational management program at like 21. And it allowed me to travel to different states: Kalispell, Montana, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, all of these different places. And I loved it. I learned a lot. I invested quite a few years there. Still have wonderful relationships with a lot of my managers who taught me what a poker face was, because they said, girl, you do not have it. Because I'd be like, what was said? Run that back? She's like, you can't talk like that. Who can't? That was my introduction to affinity groups, which has crescendoed to DEI. So that was really, really amazing. I learned a lot of core principles of leadership. I learned how to transfer a lot of conversations into action. I learned process. I earned great certifications on their behalf. And then I came to a point when we were doing some community service surrounding financial literacy in a high school. And there were young people who looked like me, who did not know what a checkbook was, did not know anything surrounding finance. So, I had earned my MBA by then, and I was just like, what do you mean? You're about to go to college. They will get you with all of those credit card offers. You don't want to be in debt twice if you have loans and not scholarships. So that just sat with me, and it gave me the feeling. Mm-hmm. It gave me the feeling. Now, imagine, Brittany, you're 25, 26 years old, making a good 70, 80 grand. And you're like, this ain't it. I gotta get my babies together. I gotta get the young people together. I need to reimagine what this looks like. And I'll never forget, my senior principal was like, you wanna do what? You are in a fantastic position. Mm-hmm. You're in a fantastic position. What do you mean you wanna do something different? And I was like, I'm going to do something different. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go teach. So I applied to a phenomenal program, Teach for America. And I got in, but I thought I was going to stay in Dallas. So I was like, I have the life here. And they said, oh, welcome to the core. You're moving to Chicago. I said, who? Shekinah glory. And so I moved to Chicago, and to be honest, teaching was one of the most empowering, humbling, transformative, stretch goals for me. You usually have a 2-year commitment. I didn't leave Chicago until like 6 years later. I moved around teaching leadership, went to another school in Boston, left there, became a principal, became an assistant principal, worked in HR for a district. And it was just so exciting because I began to see how systemic inequities really affected our children. I began to understand and unpack how social justice and environmental justice are things that we speak upon, but we don't necessarily execute or attribute any type of movement, right? And how it affected truly the educational system. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm gonna give some more time here. Like, we gotta figure this out. And God said, it's time to move. I said, God, you got me out here looking like a gypsy now. It's going to look like I don't know what I'm doing when somebody looks at my resume. What do you mean it's time to shift? It's time to pivot. It's time to shift and it's time to pivot. And I was just like, no, it's not. And that's what I said under my breath. But I think he heard it because it forced me to actually shift and pivot into a role that I'm in now. As a chief operating officer, where I am running the largest environmental justice program in the country. So at this point in my life, everything that I've loved doing is now at the crux. It is literally in my lap. I am building curriculum, creating design, leveraging what I've learned through diversity, equity, inclusion. I am teaching and presenting the opportunities for people to balance equanimity in their lives, both personal and professional. And I have an amazing team in Houston, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Fresno, Las Vegas. And it's like, whoo, little black girl, you doing this.
You're doing it.
You're doing this.
You're doing it. It's you.
And we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we're doing it well. And we are effectuating a change where it is now conversations that are ongoing. And they're asking why. Oh, glad you asked. Here are your stats. This is what we need. And we are breaking generational curses and constructing generational cycles of excellence. And that's what I love.